This is All About Home Construction, and here's your hosts, Terry Cannell-Beck and Randy Blake.
That's right. Good morning, Mr. Randy.
Morning, Mr. Terry. How you doing?
Yeah, man.
And everybody out there.
That's it. Happy Saturday to all of our listeners out there. The last April Saturday of the month. Of the year. I guess it's technically the last April Saturday of the month as well, but the last Saturday in April. Here we are. So thanks for listening to us. Happy Saturday. And So we got some good news. We got some important all about home construction news. We have some giveaways again. So we have some stickers that we got made for the show, all about home construction. So if you want a sticker, the first 5 people to give us a contact, you can't call though. Here's the catch of the contest. Ready, Randy?
Yep.
You have to share and tell a friend about the show. And then it's the honor system. And once you tell a friend about the show, you contact us through the Facebook or email, allabouthomeconstruction@gmail, or allabouthomeconstruction on Facebook. And the first 5 people to do that get a sticker. Boom. That's a pretty fair choice, don't you think?
Yep.
All you got to do is tell one friend or family. It could be family. We won't make a stipulation of just friends. But no, for real, we got some stickers, and that's pretty cool stuff. So, yeah. So now we're Big Tom again. It's great. So, but
we ain't ever going to be big time.
Big enough.
Close.
You're always big in my heart, Randy. Well, hey, how did the VFW stuff go this week or last week?
Well, I hate to say this, but excellent.
Good. Good.
I run out of fish an hour and 15 minutes early.
That's awesome. Good for you, man.
And thanks everybody for coming out.
That's awesome.
We appreciate it. It helps the VFW. And if you know me on Facebook or know my wife, she posted the poppies out there.
Mm-hmm.
Never forget, because the bad thing about our national warriors is we're losing them faster than we're creating them.
Sure. Yeah. So it's definitely been one of those generational things lately, and it's sad to see for sure.
Well, my dad's been gone 12 years.
Yeah. And
he was a Korean vet, and so I was raised in that atmosphere all my life.
Sure.
And but one thing that most people never thought about at my age, see, I'm 67 now, is how many World War I vets did I meet?
Right.
That never even talked about it.
Yeah, that you didn't, especially as a kid, didn't even realize.
And we have a member at the post now that he just told me last week that his dad was a survivor of the Bataan Death March.
Wow, that's huge.
And he died at an early age. I think he said 53.
Mm.
And but people will never understand what freedom costs us.
Yep.
And it doesn't make any difference which war it was. There's always casualties on and off.
Exactly. Yeah.
So never forget your veterans.
That's it. Well, we definitely appreciate them. So, and glad to know that last week went well, and the construction over there is going pretty good, right? Steady pace. Or the renovations.
Yeah, and hopefully here I don't know if it'll be fixed this weekend, but what they did was they paved up against the band.
Mm-hmm.
When the addition was built, I guess back in the 70s,
right?
Maybe 60s, I don't know. And it had rotted out the band, so it's being repaired this weekend. Hopefully,
Nice.
It'll be done this weekend, so people can come through the side door for breakfast.
You can start getting back in that door. That's
And,
cool.
So we even appreciate everybody coming out for the breakfast. That we don't do a lot because it's all volunteers, and most of us are self-employed.
Mm-hmm.
So, but come out and join us.
Well, definitely. So that's always a fun stuff. So,
And you know what really capitalized on my fish dinner?
Mm-hmm.
Because Dave went ahead and did karaoke that night.
So you would come, and a lot of people would stay.
Yeah. So, and that worked out pretty good. But I don't sing. Sorry. I did that one time, and that was enough to scare me. So,
one day we'll get you back up there. That's the goal.
no.
No problem. Sure. No problem. But no, for real, all about home construction. Thanks to all of our other listeners out there, especially on the podcast and on the radio station. We appreciate all of you. And, you know, we get asked questions quite a bit throughout the week, Randy, as you know. And one of the questions that kind of came up for me this week was, here, especially in the high country, right? Like, what is the one maintenance thing in the house, inside out? What is the one maintenance thing that you feel like is the most overlooked for homeowners? Just general maintenance.
You know, probably, you know, that's hard, but probably water filters.
Filter, that's a good one. Yeah.
And another one, well, there's so many. People don't change their water filters enough. Dryers are a big one with lint in the dryer.
Yeah.
And not keeping those clean will actually cost you energy.
Right. Well, and I've ran into this. I think I've told you before. Is like the washing machine has a filter in the bottom of it that catches, you know, if you catches stuff, you know, like not dirt, but like, you know, if there's any kind of stuff in it, it catches it. And with a bunch of kids, a bunch of girls that have hair, I have to clean that thing out quite a bit, and then because I get these balls of hair in the washing machine, and I didn't know my washing machine had that filter until one day it stopped working. And of course, all washing machines now are digital, and it's popping up some code. And according to online, it's like the filters, it won't drain, is what it was. And that's all it was. Is there's a little box, you just open it up and you unscrew this filter, little plastic filter. You dump it out in the trash and put it back in, and it all works fine.
Well,
but that's one of the things that I've been doing again. But I've got 3 girls at the house too, and like I said, every time it's been hair. But I put that on my, like, every 4 or 6 weeks, empty it out, and usually it's not a big deal. But after running into the first time where it wouldn't drain, and Carson and I had to put it up on a little dolly and I swear there were like 500 gallons of water in it. Also, take it out on the porch to figure out what was going on. I will not experience that again. So,
well, another one people don't think about is your dishwasher.
Yes.
You know, just because they got a grinder in them doesn't mean it works.
Yeah.
And I personally still wash my dishes, and it's not wash them, hand wash them, but I rinse them off.
Yeah. That's the key, because most dishwashers, when they don't work, people complain about their dishwashers, the dishes not coming clean. It's because food and particles get stopped up in that, and sometimes even in the jets, like they work their way up to the jet part.
Yep. And then the particles hang in there, and you lose efficiency. And most people don't think about efficiency, okay?
Right.
But you hit the nail on the head right there about your appliances with all the little printed circuit boards in and stuff like that. And so if you're creating these heat in these washer and dryers because like filters aren't clean and stuff like that, then you're putting added stress on that printer circuit board in that appliance.
Right.
And
they're being made cheaper and cheaper, so they don't take the heat, like they don't take the abuse like some of the old one. I think like the 90s kind of spoiled us because we had such things were coming out, technology wise, but they were a lot more durable than they are today because now it's cheaper to make, and so I feel like while things have gotten better, I think some things, well, they certainly got more disposable.
Yes, they have, and durable goods only have a 1-year warranty.
Right.
And then they want you to pay for an extra warranty for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
But I ain't going to, let's say this. Just because a company wants an added warranty doesn't mean they're going to come out right away and help you.
Yeah.
Like, let's say Maytag used to do, if somebody came to your house and worked on it. But if you get a factory warranty instead of a store warranty, you'll get better service than you will by buying that factory or store warranty.
There you go. All about home construction here on WATA. We'll get back into our topic here in just a few moments. Thanks for listening to us. See you in a minute. Obviously, by listening to this podcast, you see the value of All About Home Construction. Well, by joining our listener supporter community, you're not just tuning in, you're standing with us as we are able to support and fuel our passions of the construction industry. As a listener supporter, you'll enjoy exclusive perks, including hearing your name, or maybe even your business name, on our show. So please go to our Spotify website. The link will be in the show notes, and join. You can join for as little as $1 one-time fee, $1 a month, $5 a month, whatever you think you can afford. Every single penny helps to keep this show going as we can continue to grow and do lots more things. Thanks a lot. And again, more importantly, thank you for listening to this. That's right, all about home construction here on WATA. And again, thanks to all of our listeners out there. And don't forget the contest, Randy. We've got stickers to give away. The first 5 people to give us an email or a Facebook call, or maybe they just call us during the week. That's okay, too. If they see us during the week, we'll count that. But all you got to do, it's honor system. All you got to do is just tell a friend about the show and get a sticker. It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, if you say it
I think it'll be good. I think it'll be fun.
Can I tell you, Terry, that we have a radio show?
We have a radio show. No, you don't. You already got a sticker.
Oh.
It doesn't count. But no, for real, we got some stickers out. It's pretty cool. So maybe one day we'll get some merch out. You remember that movie Spaceballs? You know?
Yep.
And then they had that, like, all the merchandise, that scene where they're selling all the merchandise for Spaceballs. That's what I feel like. Like we're going to create our own empire here, all about home construction. Maybe one day we'll get, like, a truck or something.
There's a phone call.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Who are we speaking with?
Good morning, guys. Hey, the sun's shining. It's going to be a good day.
It's a beautiful day now.
I bet you know who this is.
Yeah, how are you, Bill?
Better than I deserve, but for the grace.
Nice.
I just wanted to tell Randy thanks for doing the fish fry last weekend. It was really good, and I got a heads up that they were about out, and I hurried myself on down there and got in before 7:30.
Nice.
Well,
it was good.
I'll tell you what, I was surprised, and that's hard to do too, because I don't do multiple fish fries a year. And so I actually thought, I only bought 30 pounds. I thawed out 30 pounds, so I didn't have anything left.
Yep.
And,
well, the folks that got the last 2 pieces that were left over were happy.
Well, that's because somebody didn't show. And
okay.
But
anyhow, I know y'all got things to talk about, and but just wanted to say thanks for doing it.
We appreciate it, Bill.
Yeah, my dad was a Korean War vet also, and he passed away really about the same time as yours. So that's we owe a little debt of gratitude, and it was well rewarded.
That's it. Well, awesome.
Well, they got a documentary movie about Korea. And which I just seen, I guess about a year and a half ago, that was very wild, and it's talking about, when the 300,000 Chinese come across the line and they got hung up at that reservoir. Yellow
River and et cetera.
Yeah, and how, they had to fight their way out, and they even brought back wounded Chinese people, Chinese soldiers. But when they got close to close back to safety, they all got in line and they marched in. So they were proud of what they done. We lost a lot, but people don't realize what our servicemen have gone through.
Most of them won't tell you a word about it.
And no, they won't. See, my dad, he never talked about it at all. And he wasn't in the worst part of it. But my thing about it was I put his uniform on one time. He threw it away.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So.
That's it. Well,
he just
that speaks volumes.
He said the United States government screwed us Korean vets.
Right. Sure.
Well,
sure.
about, I don't know which would have been worse, Vietnam or Korea, but we could talk the whole hour about that.
Yep, for sure.
Yep, forgotten soldiers.
Yeah, well, not dishonored, but disrespected.
Sure.
Oh, I agree. Yep. And because I remember watching it as a kid, and
yeah, exactly.
I don't want to feel.
All right, guys, I'll hush. Y'all have a great day.
We got breakfast next Saturday, Bill.
Okay?
We got breakfast next Saturday now. Don't forget that.
Oh, well, this is first Saturday of the month, right?
It is.
Awesome. We'll probably be up there. I might have to listen to the show first.
That's it. Well, be sure you tell a friend you can win a sticker, Bill.
Yep.
Oh, I have told so many friends, and some of them listen, and some of them don't want to get up this early on Saturday morning.
That's why we have a podcast, so you don't have to get up early on Saturday.
Yeah, my little brother, he listens to it all the way from Colorado here.
There you go.
And he said, I'll be listening to it all the way back.
Awesome. Okay, guys. Y'all have a good day, all right?
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks,
we appreciate you, buddy.
See you here.
That's it. All about home construction here in WATA. Give us a call, 828-262-1567. We'll get you on the air on a Saturday morning. We don't mind at all. All right, Randy, I have a couple questions for you. So I'm going to start off with there's several different things, when it comes to sheeting materials, right? Particle boards, MDF, OSB, at some point, like we had more solid laminated stuff, like thicker boards that were laminated, but plywood really is what, even if it's not plywood, that's kind of the name that gets called, that everything gets called, right?
Yeah.
I mean, to the non.
OSB is oriented strand board.
Yeah.
A Vantech came out, I guess, in the early 2000s, and believe it or not, it was actually designed in Charlotte, North Carolina.
That's cool.
And it's similar to particle board, but it's a little tighter fibers. And,
right.
And they use a epoxy resin on it. I mean, OSB uses a glue too, but
right.
After so long, OSB will start to delaminate, where Advantech won't.
Okay.
I mean, it's supposed to be good for 6 months out in the weather, especially for these bigger homes.
Right.
Where OSB won't hold up that long.
Yep.
I mean, it'll start to delaminate. And then what I call sturdy floor is a part of plywood, tongue and groove plywood.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And those right now are your three major types of flooring for subfloor.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, we quit using wood floor, one by material, back in the 60s, and started switching over to plywood. But the evolution of subfloor went from 3/4 inch wood boards to 1/2 inch plywood.
Yeah.
Okay. So I remember building a lot of houses. We put 1/2 inch plywood down, and then we put 5/8 particle board on it.
Right. There's a lot of houses out there.
And the reason for that is particle board was cheap, and it was slick. So anything you put on top of it, and it held up during the time that you built your house.
Right.
But it did not hold up in the kitchens, and it did not hold up in bathrooms.
Anywhere where moisture was at.
So you had to switch over to a 5/8 underlayment in those areas that would challenge moisture. Okay.
Well, and the problem too is, like with hardwood flooring, when it comes to hardwood flooring, like some of those, I mean, not all particle boards are the same, but for some of those wouldn't really hold the nails in. They would kind of break off and chip out, and so the floor is more likely to move over a particle board than a non-particle board.
Correct.
As far as hardwood floors go. But the sheeting is kind of its own thing, right? Like it's its own science in a lot of ways, because there's so many out there, and then it's like it's not all the same.
No, it's not.
I mean, you don't use it the same.
And I used to work at Plant 1 in Brawl Hill, and I run the particle board press.
Nice.
And there's a difference between furniture grade particle board than there is construction grade.
Right.
And with furniture grade, there couldn't be any pine in it whatsoever.
Okay.
And if there was, because it wouldn't dry like hardwood would dry.
Yes.
It'd go through a drying process, and it was pretty wild. I mean, this thing was like 8 foot across and 60 foot long, and the particle board pieces or the shavings and stuff went through there, and it dried it. And but with the pine, it didn't dry through that whole chamber.
Makes sense because
so you'd make a board, and next thing you know, it'd come out and it'd blow.
Yeah.
It'd pop up. Well, they couldn't use it, and they couldn't regrind it, so it went in the trash pile. But then the industry changed, and so everybody went to a 3/4 inch product.
Right, and that, I mean, that for especially forever was the standard, right?
Yeah, it was, and I still today. It depends on what the homeowner wants in their house to what I'm going to use, because if they want carpet, then I'll switch over to Advantech or Sturdy Floor, because those two products don't swell when they get wet.
Yep.
All right. And OSB, if it gets wet and starts to swell, you'll feel it as you walk across the floor.
Yes.
All right. Now, if you're going to go with hardwood floors, then the OSB's fine.
Yeah. But the thing is, you never know what's going to happen to the next people or what's going to happen 15, 20 years down the road.
Well, people don't care about that.
Yeah.
You know,
that's fair.
They just, well, today's today, tomorrow's tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, and I guess to be fair to my question, like people, for the most part, don't rip out hardwood floors to put carpet. You just put carpet over the wood.
That's right.
That's fair.
And but there are advantages and disadvantages, and one of them I talked about the OSB is the edge swelling and stuff like that. Now they do make a better particle board now, but to give you an idea, 3/4 it's not even 3/4 anymore because everything's in metric.
Yeah.
29 30 seconds, and so some engineers decided that yes, it's better to make it thinner and. You know, we get the same price.
Well, but I mean, you got epoxies and things like that have improved, so you can make it better. I guess it's smaller.
And but I mean, you can save money by putting a square edge down. But the point of it is, the square edge is going to squeak.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's the reason we use tongue and groove products to go on your subfloors, because it goes together.
Right.
But if we have to use OSB? Then we buy waterproofing and we spray it on the floor to waterproof it. If it's going to be any time, or you're coming into the fall with the winter, to protect it.
Now I have seen, and I don't know if this is, I never really understood if this was overkill or not, but I have seen where people have taken like polyurethane, just like the cheapest polyurethane they can get, kind of stuff, just to kind of seal it up for that same way.
I'd rather use the water seal.
Well, see, that was kind of me where like, and the reason I say that with OSB is you've got those epoxies and those resins already in there. So is adding a layer of polyurethane really doing a lot more?
Not really.
And that's what I'm thinking.
But there we're getting back. See, I'm just trying to shed the water where the urethane on top would actually hold the moisture as it come up from the floor through the cracks, because a lot of times, like the Advantech, Advantech will allow water to drain through it, the tongue and groove, because it's got notches in it.
Yes.
The Sturdy Floor, plywood, you have to drill holes in to let the water out.
Yeah. Okay.
So we've done that in the past.
Well, now we're talking about subflooring, and you know the is all plywood, all particle board, like. Is there a difference if you're going to use it, say, as sheeting on the outside of the house versus a subfloor? Like, do you get different products for that?
Yes. Yes, we do.
Okay. That's well.
Because 3/4 inch for the floor, 1/2 inch for the wall, 7/16.
But it's still the same. It's still plywood. It's just different. It's just different thicknesses.
Correct.
I got you. We have another caller on the air. Good morning, caller. Who are we speaking with?
It's Matt. How are you, Terry?
Doing well. How about yourself, buddy?
So I'm so glad you're having this discussion today. It's pertinent for me. I just bought an estate sale fixer-upper house down in Burnsville, and we got to look at the house before we had to buy it as is, and it was a really good price. I'm sure we're not going to lose money on it, but it's to help one of our kids' families get started. And lived in there since the early '80s, and then they eventually passed away. And the original carpet from like 1981, when they moved in, is still in there, and you can feel the carpet padding shot and whatnot. But we were able to see everything from the basement. They didn't have any underfloor insulation, so all the subfloor looks good down there. We're kind of hoping we peel it back and there's hardwood. The original section of the house was built in '59, so
Probably is.
There's a good chance, yeah.
there's a good chance we're going to unwrap a present underneath this carpet. But one thing that we're thinking about here is this house is on the oldest part of the house has some stone in the foundation, but most of it's block, and it has a high ceilinged basement. There's probably on the back half of the house there's probably 8 feet, but it kind of slopes up to the front of the house, and it's a dirt floor basement, and obviously we're probably going to put some insulation underneath the floors, but we're also trying to think about what we should do about this dirt floor basement. They've got the washer and dryer. They had it up in the kitchen, and there's easy access to electric and plumbing down in the basement. And I don't know, I was thinking about maybe pouring a little concrete pad down there for a laundry area or something like that. But what do we do? What do we do with all this exposed dirt? Do we want to seal it up and cover it with plastic? Do we want to let it be? Do we want to
No, you
I don't
want to
know. I just
cover
kind
it.
of wanted to hear if you guys had any thoughts about that.
Well, you can buy 10 mil plastic
Uh-huh.
and lay it yourself, and you can buy the adhesives and the tapes. And because I know you're a do-it-yourselfer, and
Yeah.
but the
Well,
biggest
I'm just thinking about trying to keep moisture out of the house
correct.
after we fix it up.
But
And
the only
I would
thing-
think
the only
just
thing
leaving
about the-
basement exposed is
Most
probably not the best plan.
But most people don't think about the encapsulation of the floor system, okay?
Right.
Because if you wrap it up the walls and you glue it, and now the washer and dryer's in there, but you're going to have moisture in the air.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're taking one thing and stopping moisture from getting in the insulation, but now you're capturing moisture from the encapsulation. Yeah. So when you encapsulate it, I'm a true believer in it, because we had Pete Burgess on here, and I was doing closed crawl spaces
Right.
5 years before Tar Heel basements even started.
Right.
But what I was doing was I was putting a radon fan in with a humidistat, so when the humidity got underneath the house created from the furnace, what I was trying to do was capture the heat loss from the furnace. But I did not know anything about 10 mil. So we took 6 mil. We've always glued 6 mil together with silicone, and we've used weather shield to glue it to the block.
Right.
So like if we poured a concrete floor, but just put a small dehumidifier down there.
Yeah.
And that should take care of everything. And that'll keep
that makes sense. I mean, you're not gonna be able to stop moisture from the laundry system from getting into the air.
Correct. And your dryer will create more moisture than you think.
Mm-hmm.
And but then that way, if you use the plastic, I wouldn't go under 10 mil. But with your dryer and your encapsulation, you're actually collecting that heat that it produces to help. Even though you're going to insulate it, you're going to keep the floor system warmer in the older house.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I appreciate your thoughts about that. We got a lot in front of us. We got a roof to deal with.
Nice.
That dark paneling people used to glue on top of the sheetrock and all that kind of stuff. So it's a big project this summer. Thanks for your help.
Shouldn't be glued on. Should be nailed at that age.
Well, I hope it's nailed.
Because we didn't start.
My dad has seen it done both ways.
Yeah, we didn't start gluing.
If it's nailed, hopefully we can just pull it off and skim coat the sheetrock and paint it and be done. But
just what you'll probably find out, if there's drywall behind it, it's 1/4-inch drywall, and it's been painted with enamel paint, and you'll have to put a good latex primer on it before you can even start to finish it, because the drywall mud will peel off. That's coming from a man with experience.
Yeah, well, Well, the other thing I'm going to do is take a bore scope and find a hole somewhere, and I want to see what kind of insulation is behind these walls.
Oh, we've done a lot of that,
Yeah.
and then that's when I went to the thermal camera,
Right.
and then I can look through the walls and see it, and it's truly amazing the air loss that you'll see in your house. And
we've been spoiled. You know, we built our house in Boone 20 years ago, and we did like a modular Cape Cod and finished the upstairs ourselves, so we could put as much insulation as we wanted to upstairs, and it's really well insulated. And by that point, the modulars, you know, we have 2x6 walls with lots of insulation. The house is pretty well, you know, buttoned up as far as insulation goes. So it kept our heating costs low
good.
over the years.
Yeah.
But we're going back to the future here, back to 1959.
Nice.
So we're going to see.
Yeah, it'll be
We're going to see what
fun.
we end up with, but it's definitely not real well insulated. The attic is. We're definitely going to put another layer of fiberglass up in the attic.
Well,
What about the blow-in?
There's just nothing underneath the house, which kind of surprised me.
blow-in would probably be better. I'm like Terry. If there's no vents in the house, fill it up with blown-in.
Do the blown-in stuff? Yeah, I could try that.
One thing you got.
I've never done that before, but I have to get somebody else to do that, I guess. But,
No, you can buy the machine, or you can rent the machine through
I've
Lowe's.
just laid fiberglass pads, but
Yeah, you can rent those machines pretty
I'll
easy.
investigate that. It's a learning. The whole thing is a learning experience. Everything is different now than it was 20 years ago.
Well, see,
Sure.
one thing you can do, if you pull the paneling off and it's got the old drywall on, you can drill your headers above your doors and windows, and you can fill them with foam.
Yep.
Because they're hollow, okay? And your corners and tees can be the same way, because you can take a 3/8. Yeah, you can take a 3/8 drill bit and drill it and fill it with low expansion foam.
Yeah.
Now you've insulated the
Just
biggest.
like the regular great stuff that you get at Lowe's or whatever.
No, get online with eBay, some place like that, and buy gun foam.
Oh, okay. That makes.
But now when it comes to headers, we use high expansion, okay? And what we generally do is we drill a hole every 8 inches, and we buy the gun, and we'll count to 3 in the first hole, then we move to the second hole, and then when it starts to come out the first hole, we move to the third hole, and then the fourth hole as we go down. Because, see, that's strong enough to it won't blow out. But don't overfill it, because you can, in your corners and stuff, if they're not built very well, then you'll blow your side down or your inside. But the same thing with your bore scope, if you bore in the corners of the house, you can look in and see how big the blocking is.
Yes.
Because, see, a lot of houses were solid blocking at one time. And then we went to split blocking. And, you know, when you go into the house on a windy day and if you feel the air blowing through your receptacles and your switches, believe it or not, that's the air following the holes where the wire was drilled in the house.
Yes, it's making that chimney effect.
Yes, and it's coming out. But with the bore scope, you can see it. Like I said, if you can get a cheap thermal camera, that'll show you everything, so you're not hunting for the spots and stuff. See, my house was built in '64. And the insulation, it's R11, and it was built with a handsaw.
Yeah.
So I could see every place in the wall that they missed an inch of insulation here and stuff. And we have paneling too, and my wife says, "You're not taking the paneling down."
That's what, yeah. Well, here's a question for you, Randy, and because he kind of mentioned that, maybe going in the dirt basement and putting in part of the floor as a concrete floor. If you don't do the entire system, a monolithic system in the basement, is there anything special you're going to have to do? You think it's not going to move on you?
No, it's not, because that ground is old, it's stable.
That's fair. Okay, maybe that's what I'm thinking different.
And that's what I'm saying. If you put the 10 mil on it, you can use it as a walk. You can use it as storage. Where 6 mil, you'll slide around.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Right. The other big consideration at this place is so it has like a 3-car garage/workshop on a tall foundation. There's a garage door underneath it too, so it may end up being the workshop I always dreamed of someday if I retire. But somebody ran power out to it at some point, and there's a sub panel and there's boxes for fixtures, but nobody ever installed anything in there. And when we go in the main house, the service is only 100 amp, and I'm trying to decide whether I want to upgrade the service to 150 or 200 amp now, or
go ahead and go to 200. And
I didn't hear you there. The kettle was whistling here. I'm making breakfast.
I'd go ahead and go to a 200 amp. That's a standard today.
Okay.
And see, as a rule of thumb, you want 50% backup on your electric system, because the average house will run 10 kW.
Yeah.
All but city homes. But out, if they got a well, hot water heater, all that stuff, see. And so the 200 amp gives you 50% surge when you turn, let's say your stove comes on, your well comes on, your hot water heater comes on, and then you got that freezer, you got your storing your vegetables and stuff in, all comes on at the same time. That's where the 200 amp service comes into play.
While all 4 kids, Matt, are still on the computers too, by the way. Don't forget that.
And the 2 TVs
Oh,
running.
that's right. They got a computer and a phone and
Yeah,
all that stuff. Yeah. So all those cell phone chargers are drawing a quarter amp here and there too.
When you got as many kids as we do, yes.
It ain't as bad as my generation with the tube TV, because they used to tell us the refrigerator uses as much energy as a TV.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, this house still had 2 original, like 1960s, furnished. You know how they used to build the CRT TVs in furniture cabinet.
Yeah.
They had the TV screen was wood cabinet kind of thing and all that.
Yeah.
They still have the old TVs in that house.
That's cool.
Probably got tubes in them too, don't they?
They do. You can probably sell those tubes on eBay for $70 a piece.
Love it. Yeah.
I was going to tell you not to throw those tubes away because Phillips has started making tubes again.
Nice.
And
well, they're amateur radio folks. They're looking for tubes all the time.
my dad could fix anything with a tube on it.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he could tell you what tube was failing.
That's good.
In a stereo or a TV.
That's awesome.
Well, thanks for your help today.
Yeah, man. Let us know how it goes, okay?
Okay, thanks.
All right. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it, man. Thanks a lot. We appreciate it, all the callers out there. Give us a call, 828-262-1567. We'll be right back right after this. Are you looking for a sawmill dealership that can provide you with the quality equipment you need to get the job done? Look no further than Blue Ridge Sawmills. We offer the full line of Hudson sawmills and sawmilling equipment, from portable sawmills to skidding winches. At Blue Ridge Sawmills, we understand that every project is different, which is why we offer a wide range of sawmilling services. We can help you from everything from finding the right mill for your farm, hobby, or even your business. We also offer a variety of sawmilling supplies, such as blades and debarkers, so you can get everything you need in one place. If you're looking for a sawmill dealership that can provide you with the quality equipment and the service you need, then come to Blue Ridge Sawmills. We're here to help you get the job done. Call or visit our Cana, Virginia store at 276-755-3833 or our Asheboro, North Carolina location at 336-964-8304. That's right, all about home construction here on WATA. And again, thanks to all of our listeners out there. Give us a call, 828-262-1567, and we'll get you on the air on Saturday morning. Check us out on All About Home Construction at our Facebook page. And, of course, you can check us out on, if you want to send us an email, allabouthomeconstruction@gmail. You can do that during the week as well. And
Leave that up to Terry.
Yeah,
He's a technical man.
It's fun. I love it. And then, of course, the podcast. Just tell your smart speaker to play the podcast. Go on YouTube. Tell it to play All About Home Construction. You can just Google it, All About Home Construction podcast, and it pops up. So, as I say Google, my phone is just popping up because it's wanting to play All About Home Construction. There you go. So it works. See? That's all you got to do.
I've never tried, but I do Alexa.
Yeah, just say, hey Google, play All About Home Construction, the podcast. And you can't see my phone through the radio right now, but yeah, it's trying to pull it up right now as I talk. So there we go. All right. So Matt said something that made me want to ask you another question, and that was moisture in general. So much like we think about keeping moisture out, especially when we're talking about basements, but in general, right? Like that's why we have house wrap. We keep moisture out of the house. But it does raise a question of how often do we trap the moisture that's because there's going to be moisture in the house regardless, because there's people, there's plumbing, there like, I mean, even flushing your toilet, right, is going to create condensation if you're not careful. And so how do you, like, where's that what's the fine line of keeping moisture in and keeping it out?
Well, humidity is moisture,
right?
Okay, but you need to keep your house at a certain humidity, and the reason for that is you breathe better, you hold dust down, your house, your materials don't come and go
right
through natural, shrinkage, growth from moisture, because the higher the moisture level, your wood, it's hardwood floors tighten up, okay?
Right.
So in the wintertime, your floors are tighter. In the summertime, your air conditioner comes on, dries everything out.
Sure.
That's what the furnace creates moisture, air conditioner takes it out.
Yeah.
And but every time you open your door, if now that allows moisture in.
Right.
But when you close your door, that creates pressure on the house again. Okay, so it can be expelling it somewhere.
Right.
And bathroom fans, it can go, moisture
Yes.
can go out even when they're not running through natural convection, or your hood vent for your stove.
Or if you've still got a chimney in the house, right? Even though it's closed off, you got the flue or whatever closed on the stove, it still is gonna pull some out.
I mean, there's some scientists out there that can tell you how much moisture is pushed back out of the house by closing your door.
Right. So when it comes to humidity in a house, as far as like comfort and what's that sweet spot? I mean, 40-50%?
Probably about 55.
Yeah.
58.
I know once it gets over 60, that's the threshold that you have to start worrying about. I don't want to say like issues, but like that above 60 is where where you start to see the issues if it stays above 60.
Correct. Where our bodies prefer 60% moisture. Your house does not.
But that, well, I mean, it's not so much the house does not, I think, as much as things like mold enjoys that 60% too. You know what I mean? Like 50 to 60 is that sweet spot for comfortable living, and we're not the only things that are comfortable living.
Well, at one time we had to have an inch off the floor.
Yes.
Okay, on our doorways, and that's for air exchange in your house. Okay, and then code changed, and now in every bedroom you have a vent and a air return.
Yes.
Okay, so the air, it changes. Code, your air has to change in your house 5 times an hour. Or
right.
5 times an hour, I believe is what the code is. Boy, it's been so long since I read that part. And but that's because you sleeping in there, people don't think about the carbon monoxide that you're emitting.
Right.
Okay. So with somebody getting up and closing the door, that exchanges the air. To give you another indication, a radon test in your house. Okay?
Yes.
A radon tester has to be placed in the house for 3 days without any doors or windows or interruption. If somebody comes in the basement, just opens the door and closes the door, the test is void.
Yes.
So you've spent your money for nothing on your radon test. So it's not a lot, but it's enough to move the air and change.
Right. That makes sense. Makes sense.
And
but that's the key, right, to healthy living is moving that air. But as we build tighter houses and we know more about efficiency and stuff, it's more of not just moving the air, but deliberately now. Like I think that's where we're changing to, right? Is like not just moving the air, but we're deliberately moving air now.
Yeah.
Like we're moving it in a way that we can control it and monitor it.
Well, if you're going to build a house and you're going to use bats, you're not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm a true believer that you can't build a totally energy efficient house with bats.
Do you think 15, 20 years from now bats will be the norm?
No, I don't.
I mean, because I think we're starting to see that industry wide anyway. Starting to see that.
Foam has come down,
right?
But there's one drawback to foam. Foam is going to create a much tighter house. Okay. Now, well, let's take this scenario right here. You got a contractor that doesn't believe in gluing his plates down.
Right, which is not very many now, hopefully.
Well, you always got the guy that cuts the corner, okay? All right. So, if you have a guy that cuts the corner and doesn't glue the plates down, does not put a gasket between the top plates, which that's relatively young on the gaskets and top plates.
Sure.
And but you go ahead and foam your walls, foam your ceilings, foam your floors. But those little places right there that weren't sealed will allow air to travel in underneath behind your baseboards or your crown molding.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
So you are now allowing moisture to come in to your house through a house that's supposed to be airtight.
Right.
And one thing I agreed with when the code came out during green building was the blower door test. Okay?
Yes.
Because that lets a contractor know what kind of house he's building.
Right.
Or a homeowner who's buying a house, and the contractor said, "Well, I have an energy efficient home." Well, will you pay for a blower door test to make sure that this house is an energy efficient home?
Right. Because that's the proof is in the pudding, right?
Correct. And like there is a code that tells you how much air or how tight your house could be. Like 75 is the minimum.
Yes.
Anything under 75 is better. All right. At 60 on the blower door test, you have to put an air exchange unit in.
Right. Which goes back to what I was saying. Like now we're being deliberate of how we're not stopping the airflow. We're being deliberate on controlling the airflow.
Correct. And so with an air exchange unit, you might spend up all the way up to $1,600 for it. But now you got to find a place to put it in.
Nice. So. Yeah, there you go. All about home construction, another show in the books. Thanks for listening to us. Don't forget, share it. Tell some friends to listen to us on a Saturday here on WATA or check out the podcast. Randy, I guess that's a fast show. We'll have to let you go, and we'll tune in next time.
Yeah. Don't forget breakfast next Saturday.
Next Saturday breakfast. There you go.
11.
All right, we'll see you later, man.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the podcast edition of All About Home Construction. We want to thank Skipper, Dave, and Bill for supporting the show. If you're enjoying this episode and you want to help us by creating some more awesome content, there are a few ways you can show your support. Subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. This actually helps us reach new listeners and climb the charts. And please share this episode with your friends and family. Word of mouth is always the best kind of advertising. You can support us directly through our page on Spotify. The links are in the show notes. Thanks for listening to us.